generations, this peaceful island has been home to our family. But beyond our reef, a great danger is coming.
Hello, Mother, and welcome to Buzzin Cousins, the show where we judge each other based on the movies we like and the music we listen to, and we pair each of our choices with a fine beverage. This is a Coupe F5.
Delicious.
But it doesn't really go with
the movie.
No.
But we can pretend.
We can pretend.
Yeah. Disney's Moana.
Moana. This was a movie. Well, you should explain why you gave me this movie.
Okay, so I went to go see this movie in the theater around Thanksgiving time, and I slept through most of it. But then,
okay,
it was the reclined seats.
Now wait a minute. Do you remember whereabouts you fell asleep in the movie?
Yeah, it was. I think it was in that first song.
Okay, pretty early on.
Early, yeah.
Okay.
And then it was like in and out, and I kept waking up being like, "Oh man, this looks gorgeous," and then just falling back to sleep.
Gotcha.
Actually, you and I hung out that day. It was the day that we did the fire pit in my backyard. It was Black Friday.
Black Friday.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Yeah.
So, but I knew that I liked it.
Okay. Wait. What?
So when it came out, I got it on Blu-ray.
Wait. So you bought this movie pretty much sight unseen because you just had a feeling you liked it because you slept through it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm feeling.
But I really like these animated movies.
Okay, let's talk about that for a second.
Okay.
Because one of the things that I found myself when I was watching this movie, that I was noticing and taking notes about a lot, is that I have, for me, there's a very distinct line of demarcation between Disney Pixar movies and other Disney CGI movies.
Mm-hmm.
I think it goes without saying, and I don't know, I assume you feel the same way, that CGI, computer animated movies, and old school conventional animated movies sort of exist to me in worlds of their own, separate worlds. I mean, they can be judged against one another, but for the most part,
mm-hmm.
I find myself feeling,
right.
I feel like they are as different to each other as an animated movie is to a live action movie.
Yeah.
So, I'm a huge Pixar fan, and I know you are too.
Yeah.
And I can't get behind the Disney, like when Pixar left Disney,
Right.
I was like stoked because I always thought that Pixar movies were kind of a cut above. Pixar, in my opinion, were the first, maybe not the first, but the most successful animation company to make movies that appealed almost as much to an adult audience as they did to a kids.
Right.
But without neglecting either
Yeah.
of those two
And
groups.
I think that holds true.
I agree.
Yeah.
But not only does it hold true that Pixar is the standard bearer for that, but everyone else has sort of followed that, followed that lead. And now a lot of animated movies of all forms are trying to scratch all those itches to be appealing to audiences of all ages,
But not as successful.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So for me, Pixar still they're still that cut above.
Mm-hmm.
So then Disney they're like, fuck you Pixar, we're gonna buy you.
Yeah.
And then I was like, meh. And now they do they have one foot firmly in both worlds.
Right.
Their own produced CG movies, the Pixar movies, they're both under the Disney umbrella, but they're sort of produced separately. And I have a chip on my shoulder about the straight Disney.
Yeah, okay. So, I get it. That's how I was until I saw the
Moana. Until I slept
through Moana.
Perfect.
So, no, that's how I was until I saw Frozen.
Mm.
I've never seen Tangled still. Never seen it. So Frozen, and then I think pretty quickly after Frozen came out, Big Hero 6 came out, and that movie's awesome.
I really like Big Hero 6.
Big Hero 6 is awesome.
Yeah, you got me
there.
there.
That's in a different... That's still a little bit different. That's almost...
infinity.
Well, it almost is more on the Pixar side of things, because you don't have the the song and dance like you do in Frozen and
Oh,
Moana.
great! That's another good thing to bring
Yeah.
up. The differences between the two.
But I liked Frozen, and I thought the music was accessible.
Okay.
And I went into the theater with low expectations, and I
Okay.
left the theater feeling pretty good, thinking I might be expanding my Pixar collection to
Include
Disney.
these.
Yeah. Moana, I think I like better than Frozen. I've definitely watched Moana more times than I have watched Frozen.
I haven't seen Frozen, and I like Moana better than Frozen.
Yeah. Moana. Okay, so a couple notes on the Pixar thing. Moana, I think there's a gap that's being closed with Pixar right now, and everyone else. Everyone else is closing that gap as far as visuals go, which is bold because that's what the reason why I fell in love with Pixar.
Sure.
But I think this movie looks amazing.
So yeah, that's a good place to start because when I was watching it, I was thinking I would like to start with what I liked about this movie.
Yeah.
And I think I wrote 4 times. It is breathtaking looking. I mean, the water alone.
Yeah.
And just the vibrance of everything. The way the tropical greens pop and, even the character animation. Everything. It is stupid good looking.
Yeah.
You know what the most impressive thing is about the look of Moana? The hair on the characters.
Maui.
A boat! A boat!
It's crazy.
So I used to have this theory with animated movies that they'd kind of figure out one thing to do really well and then they would showcase it. So, for example,
Monsters, Inc.
Yeah, exactly. And then Finding Nemo. It's let's shoot a movie all in water.
Sure.
'Cause water is looking awesome.
Good
right
call.
now.
Yeah.
Then there was this movie, Brave. Did you ever see that?
I did not.
Brave was a hair showcase.
Right.
Big time. It was just check
Yeah.
out this girl with
Yeah.
your
Shock
hair.
of- yeah.
But this one kind of combines a lot of things, in my opinion. There's the water is next level.
It's next level.
Hair is great.
It's crazy. It's honestly crazy.
Colors are great. Little
Colors are great.
bit of hyper realism going on in there.
Good call.
I
avoided Moana in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to. I haven't seen Frozen, and I know I should, and I know I'll probably like it. I went into this thinking,
Right.
don't want to like this, and I'm probably going to like this. But that's not.
Dang it.
When the ocean high fives Moana, it's a real problem, man. The ocean as a character in this movie.
I get that.
So the scene opens, or the movie opens with our title character, the titular character, as a little girl, and she it's a story of how she's a rebellious young whatever, and her father's is he's got some stuff in his past,
Right. And no one leaves the city.
No one goes beyond the reef.
No one goes beyond the reef.
Yeah.
But it's because it seems harsh and it seems too strict. But of course, it's just because he's fearful. He wants to protect his family and protect his people. He's not the king, but he's the chief.
Right.
He's the chief of the island. They go to great lengths to make sure the audience knows he's not a king. She's not a this is not your grandma's Disney movie,
Right.
bro.
Definitely.
So as a young girl, we follow her sort of growing up, and there's one scene where she runs out to the ocean, and it sort of parts to invite her in. And at that point, I was like, "Okay, shit, it looks awesome." I'm not in on necessarily on a story level, but this is cool. This is cool. Even the interaction between the little girl and the ocean, and then, wow, did I regret ever thinking that was all right? Because the ocean, it turns out, has chosen. The ocean is like a spirit or a soul. It's like a thing, and it has sentience. the entirety of the water, and it has chosen this girl to, fulfill the mission. And the way the water interacts with her throughout the rest of the movie is super disappointing.
Did not see that coming.
The ocean is a friend of mine.
Yeah. It's almost the way you would expect the chicken to interact with her when you see them.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought the chicken up. I'm actually going to read directly from my notes for this part. So the cover of this movie, here's what I have written. It's clearly a buddy cop situation. It's like, OMG, they are nothing alike. What is going to happen? And she looks churlish, and he looks sinister in his eyebrows, but friendly everywhere else.
True.
He's not. I understand that we're supposed to. It's effective in as much as it demonstrates that we're simultaneously supposed to know that they're not supposed to get along, but they will.
Right.
Like, it's, I don't know. Here's the most offensive thing about the cover. The little coconut men, which to me feel like, oh, penguins are a thing, minions are a thing.
Right.
We have to have our own little thing.
Great point.
And then there's like a chicken that looks quirky, a quirky rooster, and then I wrote about this pig. I want to remember what I wrote. Fucking smug pig. Like, it just looks, it's like, these two. Yeah. I didn't realize, you wouldn't think from the way it looks on the cover that it would have the very limited character it has in the movie. But the most remarkable thing by far about this cover is the hilarious and sad pull quote.
Oh,
Pure
nice.
Disney magic is all it says, by Robbie Boulous of SoCalThrills.com.
Wow, that is a good one.
Dang. Anyway, it's fine. I have a question.
SoCalThrills.com.
So Moana is the story of a young girl whose father is the chief of the village and doesn't want any of the villagers to go outside the reef because we find out later in the movie he's had dealings beyond the reef, and some of them dark.
He took a canoe, Moana. He crossed the reef and found an unforgiving sea. Waves like mountains. His best friend begged to be on that boat. Your dad couldn't save him.
But the rock stole the soul of the world that was in an island a long time ago and got in a fight with a fire demon. And so as a result of these things, a black deathness is slowly creeping across the everything.
Yeah.
And it has finally reached
the village of Montanu.
Thank you. And someone's got to do something about it. But the chief has already said, no, we don't go beyond the reef.
No one goes beyond the reef.
But Moana's like, I'm going beyond the reef, bruv. And she sets sail.
Because the water is calling her.
That's right. And she decides that the way to fix things is to first find the rock who caused all the problems, or we're led to believe,
right,
caused all the problems to begin with. So she's going to find the rock, and what's he going to do?
He's going to help defeat Tahiti.
Yeah.
Right?
But why?
Because he has that magical hook.
So then she finds the rock, and they proceed to encounter a number of characters who aren't introduced at any point before in the film, nor do they return at any point after. The coconut people come, and it's just like, they do come in the water world, the atoll from Waterworld, which I was down for. When the coconut people come, do you remember Waterworld?
Oh yeah.
Do you know the atoll, like that the first half of the movie happens in? It's like, it's a big,
like,
black...
almost like aircraft type thing?
No, that's the last
That's the
half
end
of
of it, yeah.
It's just like a big circle of metal. and there's water on the inside, and then houses, you know.
Oh, yeah.
That's what the coconut people are on. They come, and they're zany, and that's actually a really satisfying action sequence. But, like, despite my own, like, misgivings. Also, I feel like right now is a good time to bring up, there's going to be the argument that, like, this is for kids. Like, why are you nitpicking a thing that's for kids? And I just feel like with the Pixar movies, and with other movies, they've been doing that for a while. Like, they know how to make movies, and I don't know. This one felt definitely kid heavy to me, because Then they meet a guy who's a turtle who likes the gold, and he is...
Is he a turtle?
What is he? He's a crab.
He's like a hermit crab or
He's
something.
like a crab, my bad.
Yeah.
And
he's voiced by...
Jermaine Clement.
Yep.
Jermaine Clement. And that's all very lovely. But then he's gone forever.
Yeah. I mean, I never thought about that point, and it's true. They're like flashes in the pan.
Yeah.
His is impactful.
So then the biggest problem I have with the movie, I think, is that they talk about... So the whole MacGuffin is like, there's a thing that is the heart of the heart of the valley. That is the thing that fixes everything. It makes the fire not be fire. It makes the Black Death not be Black Death. It makes the rock be a hero again. Mm-hmm. It makes the village happy. And all we're ever told about it is that it has the power to create life. Why don't we ever see it do anything? They carry it around the whole movie, and there's all this dumb made up conflict where the rock gets mad at the little girl because he saves her and it breaks the hook, but there's never a point where one of them misuses the thing that we're told makes life, and then real conflict can happen.
Does it not have to be in the right place for its power to be active?
I mean, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's such a nice, like, it's so much more satisfying if the thing that we're, like, so supposed to be so invested in through the whole movie, that, like, is a very specific color, that nothing else in the world is that color. Like, it's really special, and it hides in a locket, and it is, like, we need to keep our eyes on that.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like a huge misstep to me for them to not have put somewhere in the story that, since it is so important, and since it creates life, like, why don't they accidentally, or why didn't it fall in the hands for a second of a person who knows how to use it and uses it for evil,
right? And
then they got to dig themselves out of that pickle.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's also interesting that at the end, the, like, volcano Black Death guy is juked by a girl on a sailboat, like, pretty easily.
Yeah.
I thought that was...
Well, she learned. She learned how to do it.
Yeah.
Why are you agreeing with me?
Well, I mean, it's not a perfect movie.
No. Yeah.
So I'm curious to hear what you thought about the music.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. Because I don't like musicals in general. I really don't like music in movies, especially animated ones, which is, like you said, like you pointed out, probably a big part of the reason I like the Pixar movies so much. And I didn't like it.
Okay.
You know what I liked? I really liked the first song. The song that sets up the village. It sets up the people in the village. It sets up what they do at the village. It sets up, their lives. And I enjoyed that song.
Yeah.
It was a raucous.
So, is that the Moana? Make way, Moana, it's time we knew. The village of Motunui is all you need.
Moana, make way, Moana, it's time you knew. The village of Motunui is all you need.
Yes.
Consider the coconuts.
Yes. That's the one.
Yeah,
that's a good song. We could go off on a whole other thing. I don't necessarily want to do that. I'm not the biggest. I'm not a fan of Lin-Manuel Miranda. He's fine. He's great. But
Forgive me here. Is this the Hamilton?
Yes.
Okay.
But I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid as far as, like, this guy is the guy who is reinventing the way human beings see music.
Yeah. One thing.
Go ahead.
There is like a little featurette.
Okay.
About the making of the music in Moana.
Okay.
And I haven't I have not drank the Kool-Aid, but I obviously have heard a lot about Hamilton.
Yeah.
I haven't even listened to the soundtrack yet,
Yeah.
to be honest.
I've listened to parts of it.
So they bring him in, and then they also get, like, someone from the island, like, a more, like, what's the word I'm looking for here? Anyway.
Oh, yeah, a more indigenous, like an actual,
thank you. Yeah.
culturally
And
appropriate.
they fly them to Hawaii or whatever, and they start, like, three dudes that don't know each other.
It's a
at all.
tropical collab?
Yeah.
Opataya brought in the melody and the lyrics in his native language.
But with Lynn coming in with those beautiful words, it just married the whole thing together.
And, like, it's hilarious. It reminds me of being, like, stoned in high school and being like, gah.
Everything that comes out of him feels like this world that's so rich.
There are just times when like, oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, and then you could strum like, twang, twang.
So we always sort of started with him and the music he was creating, and then we'd build from there.
It's just like, oh my god, these dudes are getting paid for this?
Yeah, we're definitely going to be including clips of that now in this video.
Good.
Yeah! Oh my god!
Yeah, there was a big chunk of the movie in like the middle where there wasn't a ton of singing. I've heard some people say that that's their least favorite part of the movie. I felt like, especially at the front end of the movie, I felt inundated with songs.
Yeah.
Like there was one point where like in a 15-minute stretch there were 3 music breaks. And then to me, just for me, I don't know how I would have felt about this as a kid. Although this is pretty presumptuous of me, but apparently, as you can tell, I'm not afraid to go there. I think I could see this putting children out. At the end, she like beats the fire monster with song.
Yeah.
And it's kind of lame.
But it's powerful.
Yeah.
What does she say? She says something about like,
But this does not define you.
this is not inside you. Or something
Yeah. It's about.
Maybe it's not that.
No, you're real close. You're painfully close.
This is not who you are.
One thing I thought was funny was, okay, this is actually sort of hilarious. I've never liked The Rock for some reason. I've just like never liked that dude.
Okay.
Which I like genuinely feel sort of bad about after this movie because he's really, to me, like charming.
Yeah.
He makes a hilarious joke about music in the movie.
Yeah.
His character does, like,
Don't start singing.
yeah, Moana like runs to the side of a cliff and
Yeah.
he's like, if you start singing.
The ocean chose you for a reason.
If you start singing,
I'm gonna throw up.
I'm gonna throw up.
Oh, okay. Here's something. I don't know how much depth I want to go into on this, but so the female like protagonist, right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad. Okay, good.
So it's something that it's not like it's never been done before, but it's something there's a push for right now,
Yes.
and it's welcomed. I have no problem with it.
Agreed.
Disney seems to not learn the lesson with like sexualizing them, which is really interesting to me.
Yeah.
Like, Moana still she wears like her belly's exposed the entire movie.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really funny. It's like, okay, when are we gonna have like a chubby like who's fully dressed?
Lilo and Stitch.
Maybe I never saw that.
Yeah.
But you're right.
No, but you're right.
But so I don't know. It's something I've been thinking about more in the last couple months. That like that's cool to have these female leads. But let's like, if we're gonna be so realistic as to say anyone can do this, which is true. You know, like man, woman, whatever, can accomplish these things.
Yeah,
which is true. It's also true that like a chubby man could do it, a chubby woman could do it.
Right.
You know, like.
Right.
Let's embrace that.
Yeah, that's interesting. now, I don't want to go defending Disney, but I wonder how much of it is like, well, people as people want to see themselves as the young, pretty, not princess, or as the super yoked fucking, macho dude.
True.
So like, we don't put the characters, we don't design these characters so that they be appealing for you to look at, but rather that they be appealing for you to imagine yourself being. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it seems like I'm swaying or whatever, or it's funny that I'd recommend a movie that I'm now, like, sort of putting down. But, like, if we're comparing it to Pixar movies, this maybe over Cars for me. I don't know, I'm not a huge Cars fan.
I like Cars, actually. It is kind of one of the great American tragedies that's the one movie that Pixar made not entirely under the Disney umbrella.
True. I think overall for me, visually, it grabbed me.
Yeah.
And then the music, I've been listening to a lot. For some reason, the music just like sunk its teeth in.
Yeah.
So visually, and then the music, and then I started listening to the soundtrack at work.
Yeah.
Which is a little embarrassing.
Wow. No wonder you know all the songs.
Yeah, so I'd listen to that, and then by the time it came out on Blu-ray, I was ready to go.
Pick that shit right up. I think what this movie, like, having really been and probably it was a disservice to the movie that I was like I was focusing on being so analytical. I was watching it. But one of the things I came up with is that I think what I like about Pixar movies, especially, and I really, personally, this is getting off on a bit of a tangent, but I feel like Pixar's headed down a wrong path. I don't know if you
get that feeling as well.
Like, they have these are going to be totally wrong numbers, but the idea is sound. They have 10 or 12 projected projects, and 8 or 10 of them are sequels.
Yeah, it's disappointing.
Yeah. So, with that said, I think particularly in the latter day Pixar, the sort of second half of their whatever up to this point, they make movies that are about things and ideas that are sort of universally, or can be, when they succeed, universally applicable to people. But I think Moana tells a very specific story. It tries to tell this broad youth and rebellion and fear and bravery story, but it's so specific. It's so hard to imagine yourself in the shoes of any of these characters. Whereas with, I think the three I wrote down were Up, which is not my favorite Pixar movie.
Inside Out.
Man, oh man. Have you seen that movie?
I wanted to bring it up in this conversation, but yes, I've seen it. It's
devastating in the best possible.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's incredible. What they pulled off with that movie is sort of incredible.
Yeah. I wonder if it's my favorite movie of theirs. For the longest, it was WALL-E. WALL-E would be one of the ones.
Yeah, WALL-E's great. Oh, The Good Dinosaur.
I have not seen it.
My first viewing of that movie. And
I remember.
I was kind of like, oh, I think I'm a little bit bummed by that. And I've since watched it a few times. I've been like, I'm not bummed by this movie at all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not on the level of an Inside Out or an Up. I mean, I know you said that's not one of your favorites.
Yeah.
I love Up.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's a good, from start to, and that movie looks awesome.
Oh, okay.
The movie looks really good, and it's based in a cool part of the U.S.
And also, Toy Story 3, man. I know that it's a sequel, which is a bummer.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that it's a franchise, which makes it seem... But, man, that movie is almost perfect.
And it walks the line of devastating.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
I'd say it is devastating.
And actually, Pixar walks the line of devastating.
I agree.
That's kind of been part of their formula lately.
I'm wary to suggest that in order to be an effective children's movie, you better walk the line of devastating. I'm just saying that if you can tell a story that the kids like because they're interested in the characters, but that everyone, including the kids, but everyone else likes because it's a broad. And I know broad is sometimes not great, but like it feels applicable in other ways.
Right.
Again, I know Moana tries, but I don't know.
Yeah.
That ocean, man. That fucking ocean as a character.
It's a hook.
This is a hook?
Really? Blow dart in my butt cheek.
I don't know. Moana.
Yeah! Oh my god!